What's up, everyone? Wow, are you going through puberty, girl? What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for what we are watching today, but also it's a very sad, I guess whatever. We are watching the Demi Lovato documentary. Well, it's not her, well, it's her documentary, but it's not. Anyway, shut up, Ariana. It's called Child Star. It's available on Hulu, so go watch it for yourselves and then come back and we can chit chat it up. Or if you don't have Hulu, because it's $45, watch with me. However, I have to cut because of copyright, so it's gonna be kind of like choppy. Sorry. And I'm super excited to get into the documentary. So please don't forget to subscribe. Let's become a family, you know, get my vibe. Yes. So don't forget to subscribe and comment, and let's get into it. Oh, hi.
A couple of seconds and I'll ask you a bunch of questions.
Okay.
And there's no wrong answer. Tell me, if you could do anything when you're older, what do you want to do? What's your thing?
I want to be a famous singer. Well, it's kind of complicated.
Me.
Soccer player. I want to be an actor.
Period.
I really love to act, but I also really would love to teach little kids. When I grow up, I would like to be a gamer. A model.
Do you like it when people film you? How does it feel now you're doing it right now?
No.
I'm a little bit nervous and a little bit happy.
Yeah. She gets it.
On
Is
a
that her
scale of
house?
1 to 10, how much are you hating me filming you?
As long as you get the right angles,
I don't mind.
Be honest.
I think on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like an 8.
Feels like a 9.
Hi, Demetria.
I think I just don't like being on camera. I think that, like, being on camera makes a lot of my body image issues come up.
Let me tell you about it.
And I'm constantly, like, when I'm on camera, I'm just hyper aware of that. It just makes me a little uncomfortable.
I hate seeing myself on camera, but I hate seeing myself.
When I was a kid, I was so...
Period.
They were my world. I just loved them so much. I just have this memory of Shirley Temple appearing on their TV. And I thought, I'm going to be the next Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple
I'm
went
going to
through
be
it.
the next child star. If she can do it, I can do it. And I did.
And unfortunately, sometimes that looks explosive, like an incident where you punch your backup dancer on an airplane or you overdose from heroin.
Yeah, that happens frequently, actually.
When I'm performing in a show and I see an empty seat, like, it really fucks with me. Even on
Really?
stage, like, I'll see an empty seat and I'm like, oh, not good enough.
Really?
You know, yeah,
That's
it's just
crazy.
like, I looked at my success as my self-worth. You know, I had a really hard time differentiating the two. I was just wondering if you ever experienced any of that and what that would have been like for you if you did.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild to hear, you know what I mean? Because you are so, like, beloved, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
have fanatics, you know what I mean? Like,
Lovato, babe.
earned, you know what I mean? Plus, a giant ball of talent, but, like, to see that one inkling of a thing like that can irk a person like that is interesting to, like, you know, discuss, because
Answer the question.
yeah, I mean, I've had those same kind
Thank
of
you.
experiences where there's a chip in the armor, you know what I mean? And it's like, shit, everything's not perfect, or I'm not perfect enough. So you migrate towards those that are going to give you that, you know, validation.
I want to be an actress.
Hey, Drew. Drew has woof.
Milk, I'm a Barrymore. Get me a drink and make it a double.
Drew went through it, girl.
I feel lucky that I'm a part of it. Oh my God, of course. How could we not have you a part
It's
of this?
Drew Barrymore, like.
You were sort of almost born into it, given that you started at 11 months old.
Totally. It was a Gainsburger Puppy Chow commercial,
Jeez.
and I've never stopped working since then. except for when I was institutionalized by my mother. And then she's just this single mom raising a baby in 1975 with no money. There was a quietness in our apartment, a loneliness. And then when I got to ET, it was like a big, bustling environment full of people and life and creativity and
Still
theatrics
never seen
and
ET.
play. What kid doesn't want to play?
Children have been part of the workforce for an incredibly long time.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about that, girl. Child labor law.
Is abolished.
Thank you.
And children
And then they were like, Disney, though.
protections, except for child actors. The Shirley Temple Act carved out child entertainers from the
a loophole.
protections that children got in most other occupations.
No, Demetria.
Look at
Oh
these.
my god.
Oh, her sister.
Why
Her
don't
sister
you
is
do that?
Yeah.
preggers right now.
Yeah, singing was my talent.
That's
Oh my
Jude.
God, I love that picture.
Jude?
So
Jude?
cute.
I remember one time you made a whole CD of like 8 songs. You sang 2 tracks.
Yeah.
And you sold the CDs for $10 each. I wanted to give them every opportunity I could
I love her
to
mom.
let them do what I didn't get to do when I was a kid.
It's like you want to give your child everything, but also at the same time, it's like,
It's
I don't
really
know.
hard to be an actor's parent. You have to give
Yeah.
up your career. You have to take them to auditions all of the
Yeah.
time. You have to be on set. How are you going to work?
Some see this as a way of catapulting the family to stability and becoming happy.
I was really unhappy in my home life
Hey,
and
girl.
at school, and I was really bored, and I was getting into like really crazy trouble at 7.
Wow. Okay.
7?
And so as soon as I started going on auditions every day after school with my mother, all of it stopped.
Oh,
And
lovely.
because it was 1987, so it was a really unsafe time to be, thank you, at the Port Authority. So
Is this like a stage thing, or are they really gonna dine her?
loved having something finally that I knew I was good at. And getting all that positive reinforcement all the time for being good at something.
That's crazy.
My father was a failed cult leader.
Oh,
And so
okay.
he
All
had
right.
all that same sort of like really crazy narcissism that goes along with someone wanting to run a.
You see how important it is to pick the right partner for your child?
There was never any peace in my house.
And you found peace on set.
Yeah. I knew nothing totally insane was about to happen.
Right.
You know, nobody was gonna like get really mad and pretend they were gonna drive the car into a wall.
He has to work late at night.
That film changed my life. There
Really?
was something very different about E.T. because of the way Steven Spielberg treated me. I did not have a father, and he was the person who made me feel like all of a sudden I wanted to be my best for her. There was no authority in my life, so I loved any boundary he set to me. It didn't hit me until I was an adult. Oh, that's how parents are supposed to make you feel.
Yeah.
My mother at the time did not know anything about making movies. She just really didn't know. And Cher took me under her wing, and she recognized
Really?
that sometimes you could be on a set and you don't know exactly what is going on behind the scenes. Power struggles or different issues, and if you don't know any better and have no experience, you could think it was your fault.
Right.
And she never wanted me to feel insecure. She was great. I spent all my time with her. I used to hide from tutor school in her trailer.
Kind of was she a mentor to you?
Yeah, I was really lucky in that when I first started, I worked with a lot of women that were very strong.
Yeah.
A lot of these people were like screwed
I
at home,
didn't
screwed
have
on
that
set.
experience. It was a man's world for me.
Nobody
yeah.
around me really knew this is what can happen to your kid.
You know, it starts with your parents, yes, but
Which
kids don't listen
suck,
to their parents,
apparently.
you know what I mean? Like, kids will listen to their parents' friend saying the exact same thing that their parents said and actually listen to that person. You know,
Right.
it's just one of those dynamics in life. I had You know, my theater mentor, you know, our drama teacher, Freddie Hendricks, was a big one. You know, a lot of people in the church, I would say, like, the church as a whole, growing up.
Yeah.
I secretly was bummed that I was a Disney kid because I was like, I never got to like...
Yeah, I knew it.
I never got to get slime.
Yeah, no, I was a huge fan of Nickelodeon, like, for that reason. Double Dare was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I wanted that. Disney was like the most wholesome reality that could ever be created, you know what I mean? So Nickelodeon was just like, yeah, we're punks or whatever. We listen to hip hop, we listen to R&B, you know what I mean?
Before Nickelodeon, before the 1980s really, children's entertainment was definitely geared toward children, but there was only the 3 channels, and there's not really a lot of children per se.
Even the cartoons were ostensibly adults.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm calm.
Why shouldn't you be? Your wife isn't having a baby.
And then all of a sudden there was this new way of piping television into homes, cable.
So Nickelodeon does some of the first ever focus groups for children. It's really the first time where they're sitting down with the kids and saying, what do you want us to show? Disney kicks off its own channel. Now there's competition.
Barney and seeing the episodic checks that would come in and you're...
Crazy.
Yeah, and it was just like, I don't even know. There's not a... I can't even spend this in one day on toys.
Tell us a little bit about some of your acting.
Oh.
My acting that I've done has probably been Barney.
She
that
was so
really got me
iconic.
started and like was singing too, because after that I found a voice teacher.
My paychecks would go back into voice lessons and acting lessons and guitar lessons, and I was kind of like an investment.
Fire in her that she wanted to get to the next level.
I don't have that. She got there, but boy, oh boy.
It was my first audition and I booked it and that was great, but then like found it really hard to book other jobs. And I was so frustrated. A bunch of money right away. No one ever tells you that it runs out. Then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like,
I'm broke.
Oh shit, this is like, I have to keep working if I'm lucky enough to keep working, you know?
Yeah, man. For a long time, it was, you know, a lot of auditioning, like a lot of struggle, whatever.
A lot of rejection.
Ton of rejection.
Yeah.
Like,
Clock it.
And I really considered not wanting to act anymore, like if these are the kinds of things I had to go through.
I think the first day I came back from shooting mermaids, there were 2 little girls that I'd been friends with, and I went to talk to them and tell them about what I had done, and they very quickly turned on me and thought I was bragging.
So
And I was
weird.
like,
I would run. Demi Lovato. Like, I would rush to be her friend.
As soon as I started auditioning for roles, the bullying started happening.
Which is
The
crazy.
popular girls started writing in the bathroom stalls, Demi's a whore, all these nasty things. And then it got to the point where, like, by the end of the day on a Friday, I remember going to lunch and feeling like everyone was staring at me. A suicide petition saying that I should kill myself. And it was passed around and people signed it.
What the freak, man? I heard she always talks about the story.
So extremely
and
hurtful.
it blows my mind every time.
And that was a part of my motivation to follow my dreams because I knew it would get me out of Texas.
Demi went to the Disney Channel to audition for the Jonas Brothers show. And she wanted it so bad. The agent called us and said, I'm sorry, Demi didn't get it.
But she got as the bell
I was
rings.
so close.
And then
I had gotten my hopes up so high. Disney said, even though you didn't get this one, we still want to see you for 2 other roles.
And we got a phone call. Her agent put it on speaker. And they said, congratulations, Demi. You are Camp Rock's Mitchie. That was the name of the character.
Why does nobody ever talk about as the bell rings?
That's really that big.
It was like an episode.
That was like, this is going to change my family's whole life.
Well, yeah.
Mom! This is so exciting! You know, it's not every day and I hand my beautiful daughter over to show business. Bye.
The attorney that was on the phone said, when are you going to be moving out here? It got harder from there. Trust me.
Well, we know, babe. This is living the dream. AKA the most iconic life ever.
Whoa.
Disney comes along and realizes the idea of being famous is a real hook to teenage girls in particular.
The Cheetah Girls in Concert Collection.
Period.
You can make them sing.
High School Musical and Hannah Montana.
I wrote this song about an 11-year-old girl who wanted to be a rock star.
These shows about performing and what it might be like to be famous, that these shows in particular are very merchandise friendly.
Were they getting money from the royalties? Because I had everything.
Entertainer, performer, JoJo Siwa can do it all. She's fun, she's positive, and she's so sparkly. We're in JoJo heaven, and now your little one can be too.
You need a bath bomb?
A scented bath bomb?
Fully.
What else do we have? We have...
I mean, art kits, we got toys, electronics, merchandise, bows.
Design your own glitter tumblers.
Yep.
You have everything.
I have everything you could ever need for a 7-year-old girl's birthday party. Not a character.
Right.
But at the same time, same as SpongeBob.
Right.
You know what I mean? Same as Mickey Mouse.
Because your name is on this, so it's you. It's your
me.
likeness. It's
Yeah.
not a character that you're playing, which is totally different than what Hannah Montana and other...
You.
And
Hello?
me.
You. Yeah.
If you get a Disney show or
Like
a
you're
Nickelodeon
it.
show,
That's it.
Suddenly your life
Yeah.
changes overnight. You not only become famous, your image becomes merchandised. You're in Target aisle. They send you to the theme.
And I ate it up.
Everyone at that time wanted to be on Disney Channel. It was the coolest thing to do, is to be a Disney Channel
Had
star.
that t-shirt. Remember that poster.
Because getting a movie role that would break a child actor was so rare. And here came along this massive platform
only kids
that could
really.
easily transform your life. I had so much fun filming Camp Rock. The whole thing was so exciting. We were all kind of just thrown into this Disney machine.
This is our schoolroom. This is where we hang out.
She should
We
have the
called
whole
it
cast
Disney
there.
High. You know, we were dating each other, and there was people that didn't like each other. We were all the same age, and none of us were in high school, so that was our experience of it.
Oh my God.
But cue like a bunch of money and drugs.
I think there's been one night where we're not hanging out. It shows how close we've really gotten with each other. Everyone in this movie is friends with each other, and that's hard to find.
I remember one time you followed me into the bathroom.
Yeah.
In Camp Rock 1.
Uh-oh.
And I had been purging. And you picked up on it because your spidey senses were already in tune with those behaviors. I was really grateful that someone didn't just like shun me in that moment or shame me at all. I felt like you were very understanding, but that was definitely a moment that I remember being like, one, I was like, oh my God, somebody knows. Like, fuck.
A lot of people seem to know around Demi. A lot of people knew in...
Do you remember doing like the photo shoots that we did for like the teen magazines?
Yes. Like Pop Star and Tiger Beat.
I remember they removed every line and airbrushed under my eyes, almost not recognizing myself, and then immediately going, I didn't know that those things were wrong with me before. You see yourself and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I look perfect, you know? And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely caused a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence issues.
It was a really, really dark time
Yeah.
for
Really?
me with my eating disorder. And I remember specifically feeling terrified of my appearance and being in very, very, very obsessive behaviors before the press started. And, you know, on the outside, then people were like, that was amazing. Look how great you look. And we're like, you have no idea what's going on right now. I was trained to be
perfect
at your beck and call, and whatever you want from me, I will provide. Definitely being easy to work with was the ultimate. You knew you were gonna get the next job based on how easy you and your mother were to work with.
Yeah.
And then I was pretty easy too, because I just so desperately wanted to be there.
Her story scares me.
I was pretty convinced that the more open and available I was, that makes you better at your job. So the memo I got was, your job requirement is to
be
unzip,
open,
metaphorically speaking, and open yourself up to everything.
Right.
I didn't know boundaries.
Could you step back and let us see the rest? We're doing a story on fashion.
I started noticing the word brand in conversations, and it just came into my consciousness when I was about 15, whenever I started working on Disney Channel. You know, like, what image am I going to put out there of myself? It's confusing when you start profiting off of your brand, which you confuse with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, that's an exhausting part of the industry.
Hey. I was just listening to that song.
How's it going?
I'm chilling.
Is that the producer?
I'm good.
Hi, boo.
Good to see you.
I love him.
There's all this pressure to create a hit song, and that takes away from the joy of it. Because I'm in the studio second-guessing everything I do and write. I sat down with my former management when I was 15.
Speakers.
And they said, do you have any songs? And I played them 5 of the songs I'm most proud of.
Now that you ask.
And they didn't react to them the way that I was hoping.
Really?
They were like, those are okay. Let's get you in the studio with such and such artists and writers. That, to me, chipped away at that raw connection to music. Obviously, my ego was hurt. It chipped away at my confidence, and I never turned to music the same way again.
Really? Dang.
The looks, personality, and talent to land.
Come on, Raven. Oh, Raven's in this. I forgot.
In the 80s, all of a sudden, you start having more and more of these child actors who are becoming stars.
This is fun.
Raven
but it's also a
was
job.
acting for a very long time.
She does this to get
very
money.
Scary.
Paid. Exactly. There's
but she was good at what she did, though.
So forth like that.
When did you realize it was work?
I knew it was work immediately. My parents made sure that I understood that this was a job. I get paid for it, and you show up professionally. How much I was making, and I understood that this was a job. If you lose it, you don't make the money.
Right.
Dang.
When did you realize you were the breadwinner for your family?
We call it a family business.
Right.
Everybody has a job within the family business.
Okay.
But it's really just
nobody
Raven.
likes to say one person is the breadwinner or
Right.
not.
Right.
Read through those lines.
Clock it. We're kind of rude. That's fine. Didn't even get the question out. So when did you? I was 7 years old. Oh.
From the age of 16 months, I knew that my job was to entertain other people. I mean, that's a mind thing in itself, you know. One of the youngest black females to have a show named after them.
Yes.
And there's a lot of pressure.
Goodness gracious.
That's me. Parents forget that children, young kids,
Have opinions.
are performing for their parent. They're performing for their parents' love and affection and their good job. And yes, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And money does crazy shit.
Hello, clock it.
Ooh wee, look what that money make a bitch do.
He made very good money performing alongside Charlie Chaplin, but he actually wasn't able to access the bulk of his own money upon becoming an adult. His parents had frittered away what should have been millions. So California passed the first Coogan law that required that there be some percentage of money for a child actor set aside in a trust. So in those states where they do exist, Coogan laws are really important for child entertainers.
What is Georgia now one?
In Florida, they didn't have the same kind of labor laws or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was basically a con artist and ran away with my entire biggest earnings up to that point. You know what I mean? So by the time it was discovered, it was towards the end of that Nickelodeon tenure and the end of the job existence that I had at that point. And it was devastating because I discovered it in front of others. You know what I'm saying? I was going to buy a house in Atlanta, my first home kind of shit. It's crazy going from rags to riches and back to rags. It's a motherfucker.
Hey.
One of the dancers I brought with me said the check bounced when I paid them out weekly. And I was like,
this is impossible because I've been working since I was 7 and I don't spend any money ever. People in my surrounding network had been taking money without me knowing for years.
Kids sign on for like 5 movies.
Really?
That's the rest of your life as a child star.
Yeah.
Well, chaps, 6 down, 2 to go.
That's gonna be your legacy, and you have to learn how to live with that. Once we wrap, I didn't know what was going on.
Wait, what?
Suddenly, I realized that parents had to be a big part of it. I can't have him go home to a really sort of shaky environment for the sake of a film. It's not worth it. It was as important to cast the parents as it was to cast the kid.
I think I love my parents to death, but they didn't know how to manage that situation.
Right.
You know, it's a very tricky situation when I'm the breadwinner and my parents, there was no manual on what to do.
She was doing a show with the Jonas Brothers one night, and we'd had interviews and photo shoots and everything all day, and she was about to go out on stage, and she said, I just need 5 minutes, Mom. I need 5 minutes. I just need to sleep.
And then you start...
And I remember trying to wake her up. She couldn't open her eyes, and I started crying. And then she started crying, and here she's about to have to go out on stage. Hey, she's proven herself now.
Yeah, give her a break.
Can we pull back a little bit?
Jeez, the freaking Louise. Meanwhile, it's me.
Trying to get me a drink. There was one time where I was in my tour bus.
That's
and
scary.
I looked out the window and there were fans chasing the bus and they were screaming and they were so excited that my bus was showing up to the venue. And I was just crying. Like, I could not stop crying. Like, why am I living my dream and doing what I love and have these opportunities in front of me, but I'm so fucking unhappy?
I remember a lot more than I do Camp Rock 2.
And there were like entire projects that was like, oh,
yeah,
that film.
Yeah,
like,
disassociation. It's
Wow.
like a common thread between
all of us.
All of us.
Congratulations on the video. Best video of the year.
Yes, that was very exciting.
I bet it was exciting.
I started dancing around 3 years old, and I just went straight to like treating it like work. And so I think I was dissociated kind of throughout the whole journey. On the outside.
Oh, Ellen, my beef with you is indefinite.
Years later, you can't remember a thing.
First time I was in front of a professional camera, I was 16 months old. Do I remember it? No. Do I have the picture of it? Yes. I'm like shirtless like this, and my hair is big and fluffy, but I do not remember it.
You got the right one, baby.
Do you remember working on the show? No. Okay, wow.
It's disappearing every single day. Back in the day, probably if you would have asked me that when I was 13, my answer was, I remember what the floor looked like. I remember the smells. You guest starred on my show, Sunny by the Chance. Yes, I did.
Really?
I've completed my own investigation, and my own conclusion is that you are a wackadoodle-doo. I'm a wackadoodle who? Do.
Oh, hey.
What?
Okay, girls.
When we first got on the phone to talk about this project, you were like, I was like, I watched you on That's So Raven, such an inspiration. You were like, bitch, I was on your show. And I was like, oh my God. But it was part of my disassociation that I don't even remember so much of my show that I was on.
Yeah.
But I do remember how difficult I was to work with because I was in so much pain and I was hurting.
You weren't the nicest person.
Oof.
You weren't like, welcome, you weren't doing that.
Right.
Being the type of person I am, and that I've been in the industry for as long as you, and I understand the glaze over the eyes. I didn't hold it against you. I just was like, something's going on there.
I felt like more of an equal when I did Camp Rock because the first one we were all at the Grand.
Okay, the memories are flooding. I do know that we had a bunch of cast dinners at the restaurant.
Then my career exploded. And all of a sudden I was staying at the Four Seasons. There was definitely a power dynamic and a shift in that. When the second movie came, it felt really validating because I had been leveled up, but I was trading connection for success.
Oh, she is
I remember
eating.
We had lost that closeness. It didn't seem maybe like you wanted to be reached either at that point. And so the last few years of working together felt really challenging.
Dang.
I do remember, you know, a sense of walking on eggshells. And so there was definitely like a lot of fear of a blow up.
I'm just trying to get stuff done.
Of
You
her
guys don't
or of
care.
the cat?
Richie,
The producers.
we all care. You gotta lighten up. Really? And what will that get us?
I know that we both were going through our own stuff, but it still didn't give me an excuse to treat anyone poorly, apologize for like any stress or any like walking on eggshells, any hurt feelings. Like, I'm genuinely so sorry for that. And I look back at that time and I have like profound sadness because I'm like, how many people did I treat poorly?
But again, those were all my actions. Those were my reactions. That was my coping mechanisms.
Right.
I'm very accountable. I don't blame other people.
Well, it's hard to say that you don't blame other people when other people may have been giving you substances as a kid.
Yeah.
Because at that age, at however old, how old were you when you were first given something?
I mean, I used to get high with my mom's friend at like 10.
Right.
You know?
I would say it's hard
Ew.
to not blame someone else
You have
when
to.
you're 10 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, having a 10-year-old daughter now, I just...
You're a child.
It's unfathomable.
Right.
But that's just how I grew up.
Immediately went right to
Drugs.
alcohol.
Woo!
In my teens.
Immediately.
I don't remember feeling like there was any other way to be happy.
Right.
Teen star Demi Lovato's rise to superstardom
That's
has
not
taken
okay.
a detour straight to a treatment center.
I knew I couldn't show that I was drinking, even though I was. Just made me rebel even more.
There was a moment after the incident and you left tour where...
The incident, by the way, just so that everyone
Punching.
is aware, is when I had punched my backup dancer while on tour in South America. And I'm on my way home and we have a layover in Dallas. And I'm like, when do we land in LA?
Wait.
It turns out that they had set up for me to go to treatment in a suburb in Chicago.
Good.
It wasn't like a situation where it was like I came to the conclusion that I needed help. It was like, I'm getting punished. This is the end of my career. What did I just do?
Well,
And I
there
felt
had
so
to be some
hopeless.
boundaries.
I mean, I still think about what's on brand. Yeah. That's something that I deal with to this day. That teenage role model. And those words should never be put together, teenage role model.
There becomes a point where the kids are not just characters that they're playing. They are role models.
But that
for
happens whether you
stars
want it
in
to
the
happen or
90s.
not. You know?
Its peak, Hannah Montana was generating about $1 billion from many different revenue points. But
are they getting that money?
Is the type of money that not just the channel executives pay attention to. Wall Street analysts ask executives about it on their earnings calls. The board of the company is aware of it, and that's a whole different level of pressure and scrutiny. Tape about 100 episodes, and at the beginning, the child star and their family is extremely grateful, right? All of a sudden, I'm a star. And toward the end, they're starting to think about what my next career move might be, and they want things that the brand might not want.
Basically, I signed an umbrella deal for everything. So they owned all my rights to everything except for social media. We were very smart to be able to keep that separate. But if I had like a brand deal, I had to get it approved by Nickelodeon. So that was always, but they owned everything. Always people would ask me like, are you gay? And I would just be like, I don't really like think I'm anything.
Awkward.
It was like 2 a.m. So on FaceTime with my girlfriend, I did a video singing Born This Way. I think I want to put this on my real story because it was on my close friends. She's like, okay, do it. Well, that was it. Fell asleep, woke up the next morning and was like, oh my God. No child star, as still a child star, has ever come out before. The president of the network called me and was like, what are we gonna tell the kids? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, what are we gonna tell kids and parents? And I was like, oh, again, like, what do you mean? And he was like, what are we gonna tell them about this? I don't know. And he was like, well, you need to have a call with every retailer and tell them that you're not going crazy. I was like, okay. Like, all right, sick.
Going crazy.
Going crazy. Came out, going crazy. And so I did, and I had a call with every retailer, Target, Walmart, JCPenney, Toys R Us, Claire's, Justice, every retailer at the time. And Amazon, had a call with them.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
And everything.
Like, hey, gotta tell you something.
Like, changed. The way they communicated with me changed. The way they worked with me changed. The way they developed my work changed. Everything changed. A lot of you have been asking me why I'm not at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards tonight. And the answer is very simple. I wasn't invited. I'm not sure why, but I just didn't get an invite. I basically got like blackballed from the company. I guess I just didn't realize like how young I was. How scary it was supposed to be. But I think it's the best thing that I could have ever done. I don't think coming out should be a scary thing.
Right.
I wish it was, and I wish there wasn't that stigma around it, but there is.
My parents were like, we knew. I was like, all right, you knew. Okay, for sure. There was a moment in my life when I got asked if I wanted to stop the industry. But it was like second season of That's So Raven. It was like third album. And I'm like, why would you ask me that question now? Just to make me feel bad to say yes when you know I don't really want to be here right now?
But she was killing. That's the sad part.
70 shows in 90 days. I was gonna have 2 nights off. And then when push came to shove, they were like, we need those 2 days of rehearsals for the movie.
What the
People are going to milk all of your light out of you because you're young and you have the energy, but you do not.
Right.
You're still a human.
I dealt with all these things, and I also had a eating disorder and was binge drinking on the weekends.
Oh, girl.
And yeah, I was a mess.
What age? Underage?
This was, underage. Damn. It was the escapism that I was chasing because I couldn't find time off.
People who experience fame have an average lifespan that's 14 years younger than non-famous people due to the rate of mental health struggles. And that a famous person is 4 times more likely to die by suicide. Why are we hooking a child to a drug that's fundamentally altering their brain chemistry and future development?
Oh, her song. Demi put out a new song.
Fighting drugs was easy. That was the only way I knew how to escape. But I was dealing with something that was much bigger than what I could see. I get a lot of anxiety when I think of how close I came to not being here at all.
We don't have to start with this one. I did get you some other ones that I think that you will like. Specifically this one.
Oh my God! Well, we have to do this one.
That's what I was thinking. We gotta start with the edges.
I hate puzzles. Too much.
I feel like I didn't see you very much for a few years of my life.
How's that one fit? Oh, I think we're gonna need the next size up. There is no next size up. They don't make princess dresses for girls over 7.
PTSD.
She's only 4.5. Oh.
Did you ever think, looking back on being on Desperate Housewives, where it was so body shaming that
Good God.
we had a mom with an eating disorder, I had an eating disorder, and here you were in this position? Like, did that ever occur to
Recipe
you?
of disaster.
I'm kind of realizing it now, but at the time, I don't think any of us truly realized that what was happening in eating disorder. I don't know, it makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it makes me sad too.
That this was something that we were all battling with individually while standing next to each other. I somehow believed that I was struggling with this completely and entirely on my own.
Yeah, I felt like I was too. How do you understand what is real and important and going to feed you and nourish you, and what is the candy? You looked at that overdose and said, I will not go down this way. I won't go down at all. I'm gonna actually rise.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna come out of this triumphant.
When I was really young, I was 13, I got addicted to numbers. And so I would see my YouTube channel, and I would see how many views I got, and I would see how much money it made. 6 digits a month, easily.
Goodness gracious.
I wanted to beat it, and then I wanted to beat it, and then I wouldn't beat it, and I would go crazy.
Why would you do that to yourself? Snapchat pays a lot, though.
How are you?
Hey, girl. Oh, my God.
Nice to meet you guys.
Me.
Great to meet you.
So, Demi, I'm curious. When you first heard that there were going to be a bunch of kids here and you were going to be talking to these kids, what went through your head?
Oh, just joy. I wish that I had been able to ask questions to somebody in the industry when I was first starting out.
Today, being in the public eye, social media is so common. No matter what you do, it's like seen right away, and everyone has something to say about it. When you were going through it at such a young age, how did you feel about it, and how did you deal with it?
It wasn't that big
I can't
back then.
imagine growing up with TikTok at your age.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure to make things go viral, and
Meanwhile, I'm filming this for YouTube. Piss off.
Kids are making so much money in an unregulated space. And
yeah, it worries me because there's no cooking law for it. You know, like we had protections put in place when I was a child actor that said a percentage of my money is going to be returned to me or given to me at 18. Therefore, I had like a system in place that guaranteed me to have some sort of financial gain when I was of legal age.
Yeah.
And there are absolutely zero safeguards or legal protections for children working in this industry.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Demi.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well, thanks.
So nice.
Is this a real cafe or what are we doing here?
What you're doing with this legislation?
I was doing this research about family influencers, and then I was seeing that a lot of parents are monetizing their children
Yeah, it's
online.
weird.
And it doesn't seem like the children are able to opt out of this. It is a lot harder when your parents are your bosses and the set is your house. I went to Washington State Legislature. Hello, Representative Reeves. A lot of cold calling, cold emailing. I had a phone script, I had an email script. Eventually connected with Representative Christine Reeves.
What was it that made you?
People that have like ambition. Anomaly to me.
I was walking down the hall in my house and I hear my daughter giggling into the mirror going, like and subscribe. And I just thought, what on earth? If not us, if not parents who are paying attention to this, who's going to take care of it?
When I
Come
was
on,
a child
Jackie.
actor, I had a Coogan account, which puts money into a reserve so that you can get it whenever you turn 18.
Well, and that's what this bill does, right? It proposes that we would create accounts from folks who are basically monetizing their children on social media
needed, girl.
to ensure that those kids
Family content creators stress me out, girl.
compensation. The bill also focuses on ensuring that the kids have the opportunity to go to these platforms and to request that their likeness be taken down, to be able to kind of take that power back.
Yeah.
You know, there have to be children out there who want to make YouTube videos just for fun.
Yeah. My daughter, apparently.
Like
You know,
your daughter.
in the bathroom.
And so it's not about stopping kids that want to be online. It's just about protecting them.
Yeah.
House Bill 1627 is a bill to protect kids who are monetized on family social media accounts.
Taking steps to safeguard a child influencers' earnings and privacy is a crucial step in minimizing the harm that hundreds of thousands of children have already experienced across traditional and digital media.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Drew. That's adorbs.
Do you think stories help you understand yourself?
Yeah, it's fun to write and draw and do
Yeah.
all those stuff. I've actually made a story about me before.
What is the hardest thing about being a kid?
Everything, girl.
Probably when, like, you feel misunderstood.
Why is everybody so smart?
There's always been an intensity that I've felt since I was a child. And just never wanted to have a diary because you never know who's gonna find it one day. I always turn to music as a safe way for me to feel my emotions. And it saved me a lot of times.
Ooh, the song. I'm excited. I'll have to cut it because of copyright. I'm so sorry. But oh, I love him. And I love that she's been working with him for so long.
Building that connection to music again is the most important thing I can do for myself.
I love it. Wild eyes, wild heart, blowing out, blowing out.
Too many people talking. Too many people talking. Stressing me out.
Yeah, I like the way you're doing that.
Oh, that sounds like a Disney song.
There we
It's all
go.
gonna happen, but not how you think.
If you had,
Kind of like the other girl's voice mixed with hers.
again, is it worth it? I try to live by the philosophy of never having regrets. And I've made some really questionable choices in my life. But I wouldn't end up where I am in this moment right now today had I not made all the choices that I made in my life leading up to
Butterfly
this point.
effect. My
Oh,
favorite
there we
thing.
go.
Wait, do one more. Do your iconic pose. Wait, what's my iconic pose? Okay, ready?
Oh God.
All right.
That's so good.
Do throw that flare out into the sky. That flare attracts others. It's that connection where they understand and know where I was coming from. You'll be okay.
Yes. Dang. I feel like I had no real commentary. I feel like I was just silent for like an hour. Cause I was like really trying to listen to what she was saying and all the things. It was really, really good. Demi puts out a documentary like every couple of years or so, and I've watched all of them. I've watched Simply Complicated like 100 times, and her second documentary, Dancing with the Devil, that was a good one. I watched that a couple times. Now I think this is her third one that she's like heavily a part of. Really enjoyed the style of this documentary. It wasn't, I think it's needed for certain things to be digestible, and I think they went a very digestible approach, that makes sense, but still a very loud and needed way. The documentary in, I can't think of it, what it's called, the Nickelodeon one that just came out, that one was very tough to hear and watch and consume because it was so, you knew where it was going, and then when it went there and you were like, ugh, wow, like, you know. I think this documentary was more so about talking about what happened, talking about like the mistakes that happened, and talking about bringing awareness to it and bringing change to it. I think it was so important for them to include that, the bill being passed about, you know, how stuff that Demi went through is kind of now transitioning into YouTube and social media, and there's not really like a laws and stuff in place. Like, I think the way they set up the documentary was like really perfect, to be honest. Exactly what it needed to be, I think, you know. And it wasn't, even if it was heavily about Demi, but it also was heavily about the industry just in general, you know. I think it was a nice balance of the two. It's not like a Demi Lovato documentary, it's about being a child star, so, but just kind of through the lens of Demi, you know. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully this makes it to YouTube, because who knows about copyright. And I will see you guys in my next video.